I'm the fire chief of Coolbaugh Township Volunteer Fire Company. We're in Tobyhanna, PA, Monroe County, Pennsylvania. We're here at our new training grounds. This is the Coolbaugh Township Fire Academy. Super excited about this opportunity. Working with Iowa American Rescue has been a treat, to say the least. These guys have been very helpful in designing and helping us build along the way, answering questions. So we just had a great training weekend. I think a ton of mutual aid partners got a ton of benefit out of what we did here today. So we're here at the Coolbaugh Township Fire Department. This is a facility that we helped them build. And that's an important distinction over the way that most fire training facilities are built. Everybody wants to turn a key on and have a fire and turn the key off and make it safe again, and that's it's not an effective way to train, and kind of dishonors the training process as firefighters. So one of the services that we offer with this is 1402 compliant stamped engineered plans. It does require some work ahead of time. There's engineering that has to be done, obviously. The footings had to be done before we had containers delivered. And then when we showed up, a couple of months ago, we helped actually build the facility out. And that showed up on a trailer. We cut the holes, bolted the windows on, and then we helped with the stairs, which is typically the hardest part. You are able to do that yourself as a department. That's the benefit to our kit. It's essentially bolt on. But if you want to minimize the time and the burden on your department and your members, and even the kind of the overall experience to make it better for you, we do offer the ability to come out and we'll help you with that. On one end of the spectrum is a complete turnkey. We do everything. The least expensive option is we send you this stuff on a trailer and you do it yourself, and there's no wrong way to do that. The option is whatever's best for your department. So in this case, they needed 1402 compliant certification, and we're able to offer that. Even if you don't want to buy any products from us, that is still an engineering service that we can provide. Draw a picture on a napkin, and then we can turn that into stamped plans that you can then use to build out your own facility. So this is our original product that we started doing as a company, is our door props. Obviously we've expanded from there, but this is built to go into the side of a container. We have a custom base that we do that's different from our normal base for a standalone unit, and that is so that you can flush mount into a container like this. You can come up, you can have live fire going, and you have to actually force the door like a real door. This bolted onto the shipping container here is an added benefit to the facility, above and beyond the fact that these doors are some of the most realistic door props on the market. We try to get as close as we can with a prop. The ideal is not a prop, the ideal is a real door, but we get you as close as you can. And to have that on a live fire training structure adds so much value. You can do this real speed. You don't have to set a door in front of your training facility. It's actually a component of it. Over here, we just threw up a very basic stud wall, put a door, interior residential door in. Didn't even bother with a handle, just allowing us to have a room to give the search for crews coming in. So this is that window I was referring to off of the rear deck, so people can VES into this bedroom, practice controlling a door, searching this room. Obviously, we also will store our materials in here for the burn room that's right behind us.
So this flashover chamber is probably the key component of our kit. And again, I say it's a kit because the base package is 5 windows, which can be used as a window or event prop, a door prop, and then the flashover chamber. Here in Coolbaugh, they bought 2 kits so they could have 2 burn rooms, 10 windows and vents, and then multiple forcible entry doors. This is an engineered structure that we have that is designed to contain that fire. It holds the majority of that heat and that energy in this compartment. It's an important part of the 1402 compliance as well when we talk about the structural integrity of the vessel that it's in. So the biggest benefit to this flashover chamber is that you can get vent limited conditions. When you go to a fire in real life, if you open up the front door, if you give it air, it's gonna get worse. That is typically not the case with most of the training facilities being built today. So what we do is we build out this steel frame structure. It has an interior skeleton, and we've got the chains pre-hung. We've got the ledges that are hung so you can slide OSB in. For this train-to-trainer package that we offer with the building, we talk about specific fuel packages to get specific types of fire behavior for specific types of scripting and drills that you want to do. We have a couple different fuel packages that we teach in our train-the-trainer class. One is a very prolonged type of fire using multiple sheets of OSB, something that we can choke down repeatedly over and over. We've got the door here that's mounted so that you can essentially treat this like a full-size dollhouse fire behavior class. You can choke it down, you can get the smoke production that you get with poor combustion, open it up, and then decide what you want to do. Before having something like this, the way that you would control your training fires was typically with water, which really limited the length of time that you could train. We can run multiple groups of students through the different reps using that type of fuel package. And then we also have a smaller fuel package that we teach, which is more for scenario based or kind of a big show before they come into the room. So the benefit to this product, this flashover chamber, is that it eliminates the need to have to do any fabrication on site. And again, we've pre-engineered this so that it gets exactly what you want, measurable results, measurable outcomes, and it's a slide-in unit. So these are crafted in the comfort of a climate-controlled factory. And then when it shows up on a trailer, it has forklift pockets. You pick it up, you slide it in, and you're done. In about 30 minutes time, you can slide this into a container and start burning. So you get the quality of that without having any of the struggles of fabricating it on site or any of those things. The other thing that I see a lot of times is people just slap some containers together and start burning in them. You don't get predictable fire behavior with that, and you're gonna essentially destroy the containers, reducing the longevity of the overall system. In 10 years, if you burn consistently and you need to replace this, the container itself, the host container that it's in, has not been destroyed. You can slide this out, put a new one in, and it's like new.
So over here we have a roof prop as well as a window prop. They're universal, so however you can fit them into your structure, that we opted for this positioning. We decided to buy a finished product like this because its simplicity. All we had to worry about was cutting out the material in the container, and then these are direct bolting to that container. It has a channel in it which allows you to slide plywood, OSB, drywall. You can cut it, you can break through it.
So these are wood frame stairs. A lot of places think that you have to have metal, you have to have, diamond razor blades cutting up your gear all the time to have those stairs. That is not necessary. We work through 1402 such that you can locally make some of those decisions for yourself. We help out with that. We can consult as far as local code and designing this place to meet 1402 compliance without having the added expense, but also gaining the realism of IBC compliant construction in a way that you're going to be able to burn in it as well. We've designed this so that there is no fire that is going to encroach on the structure here, but we still get to use the same type of stairs that you're going to see in a real dwelling. So we designed this return stairwell here to replicate a lot of the residential fires that they have in this community. We can build a facility for your local building stock, the type of fires that you're actually going to have. This is a 90-degree followed by another 90-degree with the landing. So it's going to replicate a tough upstairs push. And when you come up here, we can get this fire to present out that flashover chamber, and you have to push up the stairs. Also, because we've got the basement below, you can push down the stairs, you can work that. You don't have to light a fire to train in here. You can get a bunch of really good engine company training just on these stairs. And again, we don't have handrails. We don't have a lot of the other things that might be required by other manufacturers. You don't have to do that to be 1402 compliant. You just have to be intelligent about it, and you have to work that engineering in ahead of time. And it does involve some local code work and working with your local municipality.
So this window is a little unique. We took this and flipped it on its side. So you have a wider opening but shorter. So the wider, shorter opening here, we're calling this our basement window. You know, it's a much higher window from the inside, but from the outside, again, that being our first division, that's what we would consider a standard basement entry for our local residential area. So this is great for different egress training, bailouts from the inside. If we're considering this our basement and you need to get out of that basement window, that's a great drill that we're going to train with. Also, great potential for Mayday drill with grit, you know, multifaceted.
So now we're downstairs in the basement. This is the basement flashover chamber that we have. The fire department here specifically wanted a long hallway, so we took two 40-foot containers, almost end to end, but they're offset. So it gives us a lot of different drills that we can do here. You can do a long hose stretch. You can also have them come in through the forcible entry door, which is down the hall, and then they come in. And one of the drills we did today was essentially the inside truck come in, they see the fire, they can control it with the can, close the door, and then continue on with their search, finding a victim and then bringing them back out. So the best way to build a training facility is not to let a manufacturer decide for you what the facility is going to look like. You come up with the drills that you need to do, you come up with the building stock that you have and the fires that you go to, and then you tell your manufacturer what that facility needs to look like. So that's what we did here. We were told what they needed, and we came up with a custom plan that fits specifically what their instructors needed. All right, so talking about how we build a custom facility instead of forcing a fire department to buy our product, it started with the site plan here. There were some environmental concerns with the location they had, so they told us, here are constraints. This is the space we have to work in. It has to fit into this area. And we were able to design, again, that custom facility for exactly what they needed for drills, while being compliant with local zoning and making the local jurisdiction happy with this facility being on their property. One of the other benefits that we provide as a company is our expertise in building these facilities and providing options that greatly alleviate the financial burden. A substantial portion of this fire department's budget was for concrete that was completely unnecessary. And again, that comes with time, that comes with building these facilities and having that experience. We were able to cut out tens of thousands of dollars worth of concrete work that they didn't need, that was alleviated through using concrete footers that we were able to have the engineer write up and stamp for us. So here you can see some of the site work that had to go into the facility beforehand. But again, this was because the instructors wanted to be able to work on basement fires, which is a risk in this area. So we were able to essentially come up with a plan, pile up the dirt on the front end with the retaining wall, and then you have the entry at the first floor, which is actually the second floor, the top floor of this. So you can come in to a single family ranch style dwelling, but on the rear of the structure, it is a walkout basement. So for 1402 purposes, you are exiting and entering the structure where the fire is at grade on the rear of the structure. but you can treat this as either one. A lot of the credit for the experiences that we have and the facilities that we've built in our own departments, and just the way that we've gone through this, comes from the Fire Department Training Network. They were the early innovators in this. They are the gold standard. This is essentially the commercial version of a lot of the hard work that they do on their own facility. So we've taken that and made it essentially a bolt-on factory item that you can use. An important part, again, of that 1402 compliance is the fact that our products are an engineered component of this structure. So when you go cutting parts out of the walls, normally you would have to have that worked in through an engineer, through a custom design. That's just a part of our product. They know the metal and the dimensions of all of our products, and they work that into the actual structural calculations.
So to other fire departments, other fire chiefs, other politicians and municipal officials, I think looking at a building like this is a huge improvement for not only the quality of firefighters you're having, it's a community connection. The amount of community members that have been interested in this project and curious and know nothing about the fire service but have come and seen this place and been amazed. It's very heartwarming. The type of fire conditions we can get in here are night and day from what even myself have been able to train over the years. We have been fortunate to have a local county-based training facility, but they're propane-based props. So you're operating off of temperature sensors and water sensors to know when the fire's out, not true fire conditions, training in those true fire conditions, and then putting real fire out. We had 15 to 20 people at a time today in flashover scenarios. Of those, probably more than half have never been in that condition. So it's night and day training from what we are used to, and we are super excited to have much more quality firefighters out of it.